waiting to see what the police in that area find, and it's indeed sad news that it has come to this. And Irungo, as we reflect on this, of course, IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati just made an announcement on Friday that a report of a missing person had been made, and now ends up at this point in time, even as we come to the conclusion of the general election.
This is just so tragic and painful, I think, for Kenyans as a whole, that Daniel Musyoka would turn up dead. And of course, we will wait to hear what the circumstances are in terms of his death. But I think we can only just start by just offering our condolences to the family and really just to salute him as a public officer that rose to really to protect the right to vote. And that's essentially what he was doing over this period. I had hoped that there wouldn't be one single electoral death. And of course, you know, the death of Chris Musando back in 2017 for me is very personal and also very national, in the sense that I was with him the morning that he was killed on a studio like this, and he was talking about how they were safeguarding the IT systems. But to have Daniel Musyoka killed, if we assume the worst, then is just so tragic for us. We also I think we have to look at a number of other deaths that we've seen. The killing of Brian Oyunga of Kimilili, the stabbing to death of Peter Adimo in Kisumu. These are also people who have lost their lives really as a result of electoral violence. And our condolences have to go out first and foremost to Daniel Musyoka's family. Yeah.
Indeed, a very sad state of affairs. Kakai?
I think year in, year out, we have electoral violence. And when you look back and you ask yourself that these are people who offered to do what was required of them to do, the constitutional right to be employed, the constitutional right to carry out your mandate. But unfortunately, you lose life because of this. It's a very sad story. And the only thing we can do is to say pole to the family, to his family, but also to ask just to try and understand how does the security apparatus explain what really happened, and because we don't want this thing to be happening year in, year out. The way Yuton talked about Chris Musando, it shocked the country, and it's not just them. There are quite a number of people who have lost their life because of electoral violence, not because they were committing violence, but because somebody wanted to terminate them for reasons best known to themselves. It's never that serious. It shouldn't really reach that level where you lose life. And
Wambui, earlier in the election period, NCSC had released a report that was showing some hotspots that we should be prepared and try and mitigate electoral violence, but now it's turning to individuals being targeted, not what we've seen in some demonstrations before. How does NCSC treat this?
Yeah, first to give my condolences to the family of Musyoka. Indeed, nobody should lose their lives because of elections. Nobody should lose their lives because they tried to do that which the Constitution mandates them to do. It's very unfortunate, and my condolences to the family, and may God give them the grace to handle that very, very unfortunate loss. And it's not just about deaths. It's also about why. You know, why would that particular thing happen to an innocent man who was just trying to do his job, earn a living? I don't think politics is more important than the lives of such people, and it is indeed unfortunate. Yeah. Yes, the NCSC had released reports on hotspot mapping, and this hotspot mapping had been done from around January to February. Earlier, that is very early in the year. This was a time when political party nominations had not yet been done. This is a time when we didn't even know who the candidates were. Everyone was an aspirant by then. We didn't know who the running mate for the presidential candidates would be. We didn't even know the direction that the coalitions would take, who would join hands with who. So there was a lot of uncertainty around that period. But later in the year and around, the last 1 month or 2 months, we have seen a lot of improvement in terms of how the country has settled down. And once the nominations were done and dusted, we gave out another statement where we said most of the country was relatively calm. And that is evident even today, because we just saw just a little bit of demonstrations and a little bit of celebrations. People are just eager to return back to work. Nobody is really focused on, trying to fight what the IEBC has announced. And this is what we require of our country, Kenya, because our democracy have come of age. We must respect the democratic rights of each and every member of the society. Whatever they choose does not mean that we are fighting. So it's a good situation that we are in, and it's also unfortunate that it's now turning to individuals. As I had said earlier, the IEBC chairman yesterday mentioned about members of his commission, officials, and even the staff facing threats, facing intimidations.
Right.
I think this is something that we do not expect to be seeing again.
Okay.
We saw Musando last time. That was the death that shocked the rest of Kenyans, and even the manner in which he was killed was even more tragic. So it's something we do not expect to see again. Now and even in the future. It's really unfortunate that it has been happening.
All right, and of course, if you're joining us at this point, it's the breaking news of the finding of the body of Daniel Mbolu Musyoka, who was the returning officer of Embakasi East constituency. He was reported missing, and Chairman Wafula Chebukati declared or announced to the country on the 12th of August, that was on Friday last week. And now yesterday, the body was identified by his sisters as being of Daniel Mbolu Musyoka, a 53-year-old who had been serving the IEBC in the capacity of returning officer for Embakasi East constituency. And now the body lies at the Loitoktok Sub-County Mortuary, Hospital Mortuary, and investigations are continuing. And this is a report from the police station in Loitoktok with an occurrence book number provided in regard to that. We take a short break here. When we come back, we continue with the latest in as far